Okay, the one thing that this show needs to provide me with is context. Guys, I'm missing so much context. Okay, so if you haven't watched my episode 13 recap for Love is Blind After the Altar, please watch that one first and then come back and watch this one. What I'm doing is I'm watching, I'm recording, I'm watching, I'm recording. So that's why I'll have the same outfit in the next 2 videos or 1 video. So here is my recap for episode 14. Confusing. Oh my god, it's still confusing. Okay, so the episode starts off with Raven. She's at the fitness. She's doing some fitness with her friend. And, she's talking to her about, like, oh, I'm thinking, at first I was very much like, no, like, I need to live in Texas. Like, I don't want to live anywhere else. And somehow in the past year, she has changed her mind. And she is okay with living somewhere else. And she goes out to describe all the places she doesn't want to live. And I pretty much was like, okay, so you want to live in California. That's, like, your only option. Unless you leave the country. Just saying. But, her friend is asking her, like, oh, so, like, what's next? And basically she just says, like, right now, like, I think we are just focusing on him graduating, aka SK graduating, because that's in another year. So they just want to focus on that, and then everything else will come after. Then we move on to Nancy. She's in her apartment, or an apartment, whatever, with her mom and her brother. And, she's talking about this new house that she's basically remodeling because she does well for herself. And she continues to talk about how private she is with her love life and how she can talk to her mom every single day, but she will never know that she went on a date. But she finally tells them that she's been kind of talking to Bartise, and her mom is like,
no, God! No, God, please, no!
What the fuck, basically. Her mom is like, why? Like, what? Like, how does this benefit you? Why are you doing this? And she's just like, she just basically says, like, she wants to build a friendship with him, and, she gets along with him, and, like, they're just trying to build a friendship. And the mom's like, but why? And that's basically what I'm asking, and what I'm pretty sure most of the people watching the show were asking is, why? Like, why do you have to build a friendship with this man? Like, I don't understand where it's coming from. But the mom is just basically saying that he is a piece of poop, and doesn't understand, like, why she wants to be friends with him. And her mom goes on, and this is when her mom and her brother are always spitting facts. Even at the wedding, like, they were spitting facts. Her brother was spitting facts when Bartise went to go meet her. Like, they just know. The reason why you continue to talk to him is because you have not moved on. And you need to move on. You need to heal. What does his friendship, how does his friendship to you benefit you? How is it making you a better person? How is it helping you grow to have this man still be in your life? And I said, Mama. And she's like, you're just holding on. And the brother goes on to say, like, I just think you're holding on to these memories that maybe you've never even told us about. And that's the only reason why you keep seeing, like, this, like, nice, good man, even though he treated you like shit and was really bad. And I was like, they're dropping bombs. They're dropping gems. I love them. Basically, what Nancy needs is a huge cry and therapy. She's another one who needs therapy. But she needs to cry. And, she says, I don't like crying, and you can see, like, she wants to just literally break down and sob, but she just doesn't like crying. And the mom's like, it's okay, like, you need to do this to heal. And I totally agree. She needs to go in a corner and sob her eyes out and forget about this man named Bartise that I still cannot stand anytime I see his face. But we move on. Zainab, she's at the salon getting ready for the party. Oh yeah, this is the party episode, so they're going to the party tonight. And honestly, at this party, not a lot happens. We're going to kind of breeze through it. But Zainab is, scared to see Cole at this party. She's scared to kind of, like, see him and, like, kind of be, like, wrapped back into, like, his little web or whatever. And I'm just like, God, okay. After the reunion, I can't look at Zainab the same way. I can't. But we move forward to the party. Everyone's there. Everyone is looking good. Like, oh, my God. It makes me want to dress up so bad. Like, I haven't dressed up like that in, like, ever. Honestly. Like, it's been that long. Then we have Colleen and Matt basically talking to different couples at the party. And Raven said this one thing that I was like, I agree. I totally agree. She just said Colleen and Matt like fight a lot. They're always fighting. And it's true because basically throughout this whole episode, the only thing you see is Matt annoying Colleen and then Colleen just being annoyed by Matt and then fighting with him and like bickering. Like they're consistently bickering. She's just like, I told you, like, you could only have one more shot. Oh, and then he's like, ha ha ha. And then like it's just they're just bickering, and even Raven was like, it's freaking weird. And I stand by it. It's weird. I don't understand why they're together. I don't know, something like I see more love between SK and Raven, even though SK was cheating on her on the side. But anyway, and even Brennan and Alexa look like they're more in love than Colleen and Matt are. But maybe Colleen's just not a TV person. I don't know. But we move on to Cole and Brennan talking. A whole bunch of other stuff happens, it doesn't matter. Cole and Brennan are talking, and it's a disaster. Like, just a complete disaster. Brennan just does not like Cole. You can just tell he doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't want to be in his presence. And he just goes on to tell him, like, dude, like, the way you treated Zay wasn't good. It was bad. And then he's just like, well, that's what you heard, like, from Alexa. And I understand, like, you are standing up for your wife because your wife is best friends with Zay, so that's why you're kind of taking on the stance. And he's just like, well, that's what I heard, that you were saying that you were fat shaming her and saying that you didn't like her, that she wasn't your type and that you weren't liking her. And I mean, granted, Cole did say that Zay wasn't his type. He did say that. We all know that. And we're not on this channel to be like, oh, well, Cole is a savior. No. We know Cole said some really effed up things. He did. But Zay ain't no freaking angel or saint either. So, you can't burn one person and not think about the other person. Just saying. Oh, and then Cole goes on to say, like, you know, Brennan and I were cool until Alexa got in his ear. And I honestly, I believe that. I do believe that. Because it does seem like Brennan is taking on the energy that Alexa presents. And we really did see that in the reunion as well. Where it was kind of like whatever his wife said, he was like, yeah, I agree with Alexa. And I'm going to piggyback on that because it was like his woman. So he felt like he had to like agree with her. Because we all know Alexa wears the pants in that relationship. She wears them pants and she wears them proudly. And he lets her wear the pants. That is obvious from thousands of miles away. It is obvious. So I am not shocked that Brennan is just like,
well, Alexa said this and I'm going to stand by her.
Like an awkward conversation. He pretty much just tells him he's a piece of crap. And he's just like, well, dude, like, thanks so much for talking to me. I'm hoping to be a better man. Whatever. Nothing really happens from that conversation except just finding out that Brennan really just doesn't like Cole for whatever Alexa's reasonings are. Then we move on into the conversation of the second conversation that was... It was a fun time. But Nancy and Bartise sit down and have a chat. And basically, you know, Bartise is just saying, like, Colleen and Zay were talking to me, telling me that, like, they told you to not talk to me anymore. Then this is when the conversation got really hazy for me. Because I felt like there was no context. Like, they were talking to each other, like, in almost like in code and almost like, oh, well, the audience knows this. And I'm like, I don't know anything. But the way, like, Nancy was like saying that Bartise wasn't being a good friend to her and that she was trying to be friends with him and he wasn't a good friend to her and that he was treating her badly. And I'm like, what did he do? Like, what am I missing? Is he not returning your texts? Is he telling you stuff on your texts and then in person he's acting different? Like, what is it that he's doing that's not making him a good friend? And why this friendship isn't working? Like, what are we missing? I'm feeling so confused by watching this conversation because it literally is like, it's like watching the movie that's already halfway through already and all the big stuff happened and you're like, wait, so who's this person? And who's that? Yeah, that's basically what it feels like. So I just feel like we needed more context. And Bartise basically just asks her at the end, like,
well, do you want to be friends with me or you don't want to be friends with me?
It was like an ultimatum. Like, are you gonna be friends with me or not? Like, what is it? And I was like, oh my god, this is so stupid. But she just basically shakes her head no. She's just like, okay then. And that's the end of that. They decide that they're not going to proceed with being in a friendship. And Bartise is just telling the guys, like, oh, you know, it was hard, but, you know, like, that's what she wants. She wants her space. you know, it sucks. Like, I had this connection with this woman from, like, being in the pods together. And I'm like, y'all need to let that go. The whole point of this pod thing was for you to fall in love and then get married. It did not work out, so you can't hold that as a connection anymore because you don't feel that way anymore. So you can't keep saying, like, oh, we made this connection in the pods. Fuck the pods. The pods, that life is done. Anyway, then we have the whole time, Cole is there and Zainab is there, but he hasn't really said anything to her. And she's like, well, I'm not going to talk to him. And then at the end, he goes up to the group of girls and he's just like, oh, hey, like to Colleen. He sees Zay kind of like behind in the corner, kind of trying to avoid him. And he's like, hey, Zay, oh, I've been wanting to say hello to you. So do you want to talk? And then it's the end of the episode. Bada bing, bada boom, easy. It was like a 30-minute episode. I think the last two are pretty short compared to the first one. This episode, to me, I feel like I just needed more context for a lot of things. Specifically, Nancy and Bartise's friendship. I feel like whatever it was that was happening there, I just didn't understand. Did I miss something? Let me know if I missed something, because I felt like I did not know the whole story about this whole friendship situation. Again, I think the best part of this episode was Nancy's mom just being like, girl, you have not moved on, and you need to be separated from this man so that you can move on and find someone that is worth your time. And this was the moment when, in the last episode, when Bartise was like, oh, well, Nancy knows I don't have feelings for her. But in this episode, it was interesting because in that conversation with her family, she was like, you know, I've been going on dates and stuff, but every single time I'm kind of like, oh, something's not right. Is it because you're thinking of Bartise and hoping that that can turn into what you want it to be? Is that what she was like trying to say? Because it was almost sounding like, oh, like I keep going on dates, but no one is as good as Bartise. Like it kind of sounded like that. And I was annoyed because I'm like, girl, you have not moved on and you need to heal that part of your life in order to do that. You need to move on. Oh my God, I can't stand it. But guys, that was the end of episode 2, I guess, aka episode 14 of Love is Blind After the Altar. I will be doing the last episode, of course, so check out for that episode. It should be out tomorrow. And also, guys, you know the drill. If you like this episode, comment, like, and subscribe, so that way I know that you're liking these and I can continue to do them for you. And if you're interested in more reality TV stuff, I do so much. I've done Too Hot to Handle. I have done Love is Blind. I'm also going to be covering The Perfect Match on Netflix, so watch out for that on the channel. Yeah, guys, if you're interested in seeing more of my reality TV recaps, please check out this playlist right over here. Bye!